What's up, guys? It is your boy Smurfyy here with another back-to-back video. Oh my god, I am truly consistent. Truly. So it's been a minute, besides my video yesterday. But I want to thank you guys again for the support. I'm just doing a follow-up video regarding the James Gunn universe and the DCU and the future of that, as well as my predictions. So if you guys want to go look at my spoiler-free review of Superman now, I would go ahead and do that. If you haven't seen the Superman movie, I would go see that now because this is a spoiler warning. So please, if you haven't seen the movie, do not listen to this video yet. Come back and listen to it afterwards. But first thing it is in regards to the DCU, the Superman movie set up a lot of stuff that I think they're going to be pulling from potentially. Maybe they won't go with everything because Gunn has already basically said that it's based off scripts. So that's what the order of everything's being done is what has a better script. That's why we haven't had the Batman series yet because the script isn't finalized yet. Same with the Batman 2 with Matt Reeves that just got finished with that recently, but that's why that was delayed. So a lot of things based off script. So I think what he has done is set up multiple tidbits to potentially go into different directions that he may or may not pick up, but left it in a way that I think wouldn't be a question as to why they did that in the first place. The first thing I want to talk about is Ultraman. So Ultraman was confirmed to be the clone of Superman in the movie, which I figured was the case of some sort, right? Based off the animated movies and comic books, where Ultraman is Superman basically from an alternate timeline, and he gets put into this black hole. So after Superman defeats him, great moment, love it, love the reveal. My theory with that is what they've set up is that he gets put in this black hole. Superman quote unquote defeats him that way by putting him into this black hole. But I do think what this essentially is setting up is setting up potentially a crime syndicate, like what was it, Infinite Crisis? Is it Infinite Crisis? What's it called from the animated movie? I think something like that. Crisis on Multiple, whatever. You know what I'm talking about. But same, but essentially Justice League versus Crime Syndicate, where I'm assuming this version of Superman, Ultraman, gets sent to alternate universe, whether either there is Superman or not, and he beats that Superman, I'm assuming, to some extent, because he is stronger than any... He technically, from the movie, it is stated that he is stronger than Superman every way. He's just not the smartest. So, my thing is, it will probably be a setup. I think they don't need to essentially do that, but we know from past histories that black holes are basically almost like portals to other worlds. In some cases, but also people can't survive them generally, besides Superman. And so I think he survives going through the black hole, and he's put on in this alternate Earth, and where he will establish the crime syndicate. And whether they decide to pick that up or not, it leaves it kind of open ended because he can be sent to anywhere, to be honest. So they don't need to pick up if they don't want to. So to me, it's one of those things that I think we could see, but might not see. But they've set the seed for it. The other thing I saw, at least immediately to me, that they set up for was Hawk Girl and potentially the animated series when they had the invasion of Thanagar invaded Earth, where she said at the end of the movie when she kills the Boravian leader and says, "I'm not Superman," and she drops him. So what does that show? One, it shows that she's definitely she's not fully a superhero, right? But she says, "I am not Superman," not we, as in the Justice Gang, right? Or they're considered the Justice League, but Justice League, right? But she says, "I am not Superman." So what does that signify? She is not a hero, is what she's saying, or a morally, completely correct hero. Because in the animated show, Hawkgirl is a hero, right? But then, they have the best interest of, she in her mind, and during the animated show, has this interest of Earth at heart because she grows to love Earth. But ultimately, she is a Thanagarian over anything. So, I'm wondering if they're setting up potentially for her being a sleeper agent for Thanagar, and this will lead to the invasion for the Justice League, right? So that's another nugget I think they've set up for there. That's Superman kind of set aside. Let's move on to, also you can also include Lex Luthor and the Legion of Doom, whatever. That's the obvious thing. The next thing would be with Ryan, the meeting. There's a rumor with Ryan. I don't pronounce his last name. I should look before I look at the video, but the director for Ryan Coogler from Sinners and Black Panther. He's been somebody that has been probably the best director when it comes to portraying black characters, just because he does a great job of adding perspective from there, but also different themes that are common across really any content regarding black fictional and essentially fictional characters. I don't think he's any non-fiction stuff. Maybe he has, but correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm just familiar with the stuff he's put out recently, Sinners and Black Panther. But he does a great job of portraying those and doing it in a way that's respectful, but also like really adding a lot of layers and depth and a lot of different themes throughout these movies that coincide with a lot of the struggles that go on for Black characters in comic books. So that meeting with James Gunn is, to me, leading to potentially a couple of things. Milestone Media and their catalog of characters, because the main one is obviously Static Shock. People want him to do Static Shock, which I do agree with. He would do a great job because, again, those themes that are in Static Shock are the same themes he's used across Sinners, what he wanted to do for the Blade movie, because he wanted to do the Blade movie. Remember, he wanted to do the Blade movie, but was denied by Marvel. And then also with the Black Panther movies, these themes come up all the time, and it would be an easy transition for him to be able to apply those themes in a way that is for DC's Static Shock. But I don't think Static Shock is the correct way to go about doing the starting with the first Black character, because in reality, Static Shock is one of the younger versions of he's a younger hero, right? So in my eyes, in my prediction is if you guys follow DC Comics as of late, they've been pushing Black Lightning a ton. So Black Lightning is basically Static Shock's mentor because they have the same power set, very similar in a lot of ways. Black Lightning gives back to his community as a principal for schools, and he helps on the community, but he also has these electric powers, so he ends up mentoring Static Shock, which would be a good leeway into either a show and or movie for Static from that perspective. So I think they will go Black Lightning from there because he'll be a great jumping off point since he's part of essentially the Dakotaverse, which is basically Milestone Media's like own universe for their characters that DC has kind of jumped into. But they have also haven't been able to make the Static Shock movie because Milestone Media has the rights to him, just like Spider-Man and Sony has the Spider-Man. So there's that conflict. So to find a middle ground, I think they need to find a director that Milestone enjoys, that'll portray correctly, and one that DC approves of. And that's why Ryan Coogler is going to be the best option, I think, to appease both sides. He's obviously a great director with a big name. He's a big name now, and he'll do a great job with the source material. So I think this will lead off to a Black Lightning movie, followed up by a Static Shock either movie or TV show, whether animated or live action. I think it'll be live action because I think people have been clamoring for that more than an animated show again. That's already been done. Also, I think it will lead to potentially some other characters coming to light because Milestone Media has a lot of great characters. The Blood Syndicate it's a really sick story in my opinion with a lot of different characters they can implement. But I think they probably won't get their own show. But Hardware and Icon to me are like basically Batman and Superman kind of dynamic, right? Where you have a gadget-based skill set in Hardware, and then you have a Superman as being an Icon combined, and Rocket, who's part of the Icon. Rocket is like their little duo they have going on. So you can implement those guys and create a larger amount of characters in that Dakotaverse that they can push. But they'll start with Black Lightning first. So that is my other prediction. That I think it's not going to be Static Shock first because that's what people are under the assumption will be. Excuse me, but it will be Black Lightning because again, which I think I briefly touched on it earlier, but they've been pushing Black Lightning in a lot of the comics and even in Young Justice. Black Lightning has become this hero that they've been using as a leader for Young Justice, and then for Justice League they've been pushing him as well, and not to mention Power Company, he's become a leader. So they are wanting to push him forward as his leader for either the new generation of heroes or for another power set of heroes. So and that's the point of Black Lightning. He's going to set up other heroes that they want to introduce, like Static Shock, Icon, Hardware. So that would be the best, to me, segue to implement Static Shock is through Black Lightning as a mentor. Because they're in the same universe, they interact all the time, and a lot of media, they have Static is usually kind of compared to Black Lightning, and he's mentored by Black Lightning. So it makes the most sense, to me, canonically, but also as far as story-wise. So that's something that's my biggest prediction, I think, of this video is Black Lightning will be the first project that they'll work on before Static. So that could be a hot take, but he's a great character. The show made a show already. It wasn't great. His casting wasn't terrible, but I do think he deserves to be on the big screen because the way you saw Mr. Terrific utilized, Gunn has done a great job with Black characters, and Black Lightning deserves to have the correct amount of shine and having the right director behind him to really showcase how cool the character he is. So that's my other biggest prediction. Now, my other prediction, and probably my last prediction for the video, will be regarding Batman. Right, so we already know Damian Wayne's going to be in. Is probably going to be the Robin in this show. So it makes me wonder who will be the Batman. So the best thing I can think about it is from the animated source material when you kind of first see Damian introduced in like media outside of comic books, and that is like the Batman from the Justice League. I think it's from Justice League War, like that whole animated series. So I'm assuming they're going to go with something along those lines. As far as the Batman for Batman Brave and the Bold, between that medium and from the Brave and the Bold TV show, where it has maybe some witty like talk, but it's like, which is a bit more kind of like Golden Age comics, and more of like the gritty version from Justice League War that Batman portrays. So they're going to probably find a medium there, and that will be the Batman we see in Brave and the Bold with Damian Wayne, because Damian Wayne is not exactly what you would call family friendly. That dude is a straight up killer. He's an assassin, raised like an assassin, so it can't be super lighthearted. But I think they'll probably want to merge again the same Batman with the Superman that they have in this movie. So they have to find a nice common ground. So I think they will go somewhere towards the route of the Batman we saw basically Justice League War, where he's not like the most like he's serious. Don't get me wrong, Batman's always gonna be serious, but then he has like his own little witty banter here and there placed. So that would be to me to be the Batman they're going to kind of go with. Now, as far as storyline, it'll probably be Court of Owls, to be honest, because people have been clamoring for Court of Owls to be in the Batman like live action for years. They've been wanting this. They've done it, I think, in the Gotham TV show, but they want it on the big screen, and so to me, that would be the biggest like termination of how Justice League tone is set, is how they deal with Batman the Brave and the Bold, and how that reacts with Superman that they showed this summer. Because once that is set, that tone is set between those two movies. Those two are going to merge over for Justice League, and it's going to set the tone for all yet to come for the Justice League and what they're going to be setting up for, whether it's Crime Syndicate, Invasion of Thanagar, Legion of Doom. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'll be curious to see what they do ultimately with Batman, because that will kind of set the tone for it. But tell me y'all think of my different takes on DC Universe. Tell me if you guys agree with what I'm saying. If you guys think I'm off my rocker. Do you think it is great to go Black Lightning first and then go Static Shock? Or do you think they should go with Static Shock first because he is the more widely known name, just to get more people to view the content in the movie/series, whatever they decide to go with? So please let me know in the comments. Also let me know what you think, who you think should be the Batman for Batman Brave and the Bold. Should they bring over Matt Reeves' Batman into the fold? I personally think they should leave it as is, just because it is more of like almost like a Gotham by Gaslight, which is the comic book series of like, it's more old timey in that one, but that's the kind of vibe that movie gives off is for the Batman. So if you haven't read that comic book series, I would read that because that kind of gives the same tone. Or even like Dark Patterns or like Gargoyle of Gotham actually is probably the better one. That's a great comic book series, by the way, FYI. So that's kind of vibe it gives me more so. So I would like to keep that separate, so we still have that really gritty version of Batman. But I want to keep them separate, but have another interpretation of Batman. It's a bit more lighthearted, but still that same Batman we know and love from like the animated series or from like comic books in general. Again, so just let me know in the comments who you think would be the good casting for it. If you think it should be Patterson, if you think DCU's in a great direction. Let me know in the comments if you think there's something I should read as far as comic books regarding potential storylines that you guys want to see. Because I read comics, I collect them, so I'll be happy to read any or take y'all suggestions in the comment section below. This has been your boy Smurfyy. I'll see you later.